right, welcome to our presentation for the KAImera Character Creator.
Welcome to this product demonstration, presented by the Kingsmen and KAImera team. Crafting the perfect D&D character can often be a daunting task, but what if there was a tool that not only simplified this process, but made it a delightful experience? Dive into the forefront of character creation, where imagination meets innovation. Our AI-powered application effortlessly creates all of your character's intricate details, allowing you to jump right into your game. Say goodbye to cumbersome sheets and embrace a seamless transformation of your ideas into stunning visuals. Watch as your hero evolves from a mere thought to a fully realized adventurer, ready to embark on a legendary campaign. For every tabletop game enthusiast, this is your ultimate tool. Now, I'll turn it over to today's speakers to show it all in action.
All right, thank you guys so much for joining us today. I'm going to give an overview of our agenda. We're going to start off by giving a brief overview of Dungeons & Dragons, or D&D. Then we will do a demo of the KAImera character creator application that we've built out. We'll review the auto-populated Dungeons & Dragons character sheet. We'll highlight the business value of the auto-population form completion. And then we'll demo the AI-powered 3D character creation process, where we create a Dungeons & Dragons character by doing so when we interact with a 3D avatar. And then we'll highlight that business value of AI-powered avatar interactions. So for those of you who are not familiar with Dungeons & Dragons, it is a game that gained popularity in the 80s. It's a tabletop role-playing game that involves a dungeon master or a DM creating a campaign for players to work through. And the campaign is your journey or your quest. And in order to play, you create a character. So I put up a few examples of some of the races you can pick from when you go to create your character. You could be a dragonborn, a dwarf, a human, and then you pick from your class. You could be a barbarian or a rogue. And the character creation process is a lot more than just a general appearance and a name. I know you may not be able to see this super clearly. We'll show a zoomed in version of our character sheet in a minute here. But just to give you guys an idea of the process, highlighting its complexity, these boxes here on the left side of the screen, charisma, wisdom, intelligence, constitution, dexterity, and strength, all involve a manual rolling process where you get numbers, and the boxes with the highest numeric value are going to be your character's strengths, and the boxes with the lowest numeric value are going to be your character's weaknesses. You create a custom backstory that helps explain your character, why they are the way they are, explaining their personality traits, their flaws. So the complexity here is what gave us the idea for our application, KAImera Character Creator. I'll turn it over to Brynmark now to demo that for you guys.
All right, thank you, Sage. So welcome to the KAImera Character Creator. So this is our application that we worked on to take out some of that manual process that Sage highlighted with creating your Dungeons & Dragons character and bring it into an AI-powered application. So what I want to start with is we're going to start with a blank character sheet. And so this is that zoomed in version that we were talking about, where we have all of these various fields that we're going to start out with that are empty. As you can see, there's even details all the way down to skills and saving throws, and we get into things such as our appearance, our backstory. So I just wanted to give a quick overview of what we're starting with here. So I'm going to come back to our home screen. And now we're going to go into our character creation process. So the first thing we're going to start with is getting some details. So from my audience, anyone in here, if you want to provide a selection for our gender, you guys can just shout it out.
Female.
Perfect. And then pick a color from this list.
Green.
And then let's pick a realm. These are all Dungeons & Dragons themed realms.
Let's go with Everfrost Peaks.
Thank you. And then someone select a spirit animal for us.
Seahorse.
All right, and then we're gonna use one click here to start the generation process. So in the background, while this is generating, we're sending those details in a prompt to our OpenAI GPT 3.5 model, which is gonna give us a character description and send us back all the details for the appearance of our character. And then we're gonna feed that into Stability AI's Stable Diffusion model to get an image created. So that process has completed, and so we've got our image for our character that takes in some of the aspects. Obviously, female and green are pretty prevalent there. And then as we look through some of our description, you can see things about, you know, how her hair is green, and we get into some of the other details around our character. And we see here where it's bonded with the spirit animal, a seahorse. So we're getting all those details back in our character description. So while that's processing, we are going to send this description back to OpenAI's GPT-4 model so that we can get all of the details related to our character's sheet. So that empty sheet we started with, we're trying to get all of the details for that based solely on this character description.
Brimmer, what temperature did we use for our OpenAI completion?
So I know a lot of people have talked about the temperature of our prompting when we talk to these OpenAI and chat models. So for this process, we're using a higher temperature when we make our first call to get our description, because it's a little more verbose. It's going to give us a better creative answer. And then now we're using a lower temperature when we call that GPT-4 model, because we want to be able to have a precise answer back to us. So that's going to do a little bit better with processing the data and getting all those details for us. All right, so now I'm going to come over to this character sheet, and you're going to see here that we have our character, Serafina, that we just created. And as I scroll down, the one part that I want to highlight, and then Sage will go through a few more details, is on this section here. This is where all of that manual process of rolling dice and doing some of our calculations would normally take place. And we've had the AI models complete that for us. So using its own knowledge of Dungeons and Dragons, it was able to know that what those fields mean and kind of make those calculations for us.
And then just to highlight some of the customized fields here, and to reiterate that this entire character sheet, which is 3 pages long, was generated from just those 4 fields that we inputted. So here, and this is customized to Serafina, personality traits, it says that she is brave and unwavering in battle. She stands for the preservation of life. You know, her flaws, she's a troublesome past that occasionally comes back to haunt her. It highlights proficiencies in languages here. It even details the equipment that she carries. On this page, it revolves around her physical appearance, and it gives us a backstory here. You know, her past and what it was like growing up in the Everfrost Peaks. And then our last page here, she does not have any magical capabilities because she's human, right?
And she's an adventurer.
An adventurer. So she is not able to cast any spells or cantrips, therefore this page is blank. But if we had generated a wizard or a sorcerer or a warlock, it would detail out their spellcasting ability on that page. These details here may look a little sparse, but that is because we've generated a level 1 character. Therefore, you fill out more detail as you play.
Okay. And the last thing we'll highlight here is just that we can now export this character, and we would save that to our little folder. We'll just save it there for now. And then next, we'll talk a little bit about that business value of using this form completion.
Yeah, so we see several use cases for the auto-populated form completion, and we highlighted a few here. For job application portals, we see this being really beneficial, kind of helping to enhance that efficiency and increase, how quickly you're able to apply for jobs. to touch on what Brynmark mentioned about temperature, we are able to fine-tune temperature depending on which use case you want to use. So for a job application, you may want to turn the temperature up to get a more creative response for questions about why you might be the best suited for that role. For use cases, like medical and healthcare, where you want to auto-populate patient forms anytime you go into a doctor's office, we could dial that temperature down as you're just generating facts. We could pull from electronic health service records here to help populate those forms. For government services, any type of documentation that you do there. When you go to file for taxes, we could pull data from previous tax filings to leverage that auto-population. And then in the banking and finance realm, anytime you want to go in and apply for a loan or a credit card, we could pull those personal details that oftentimes banks already have on you. So we see this being really helpful for providing a better user experience, but we also wanted to point out that this offers a notable advantage for vulnerable groups, including those with language barriers and or disabilities.
So the next part that we want to demonstrate here is how we can do a similar character creation in a 3D world using an AI-powered avatar to assist us. So the next part that I want to show is going to be a recorded live demo that one of our engineers, Scott, that worked on the project did, where we used Convey, which is a platform that creates 3D avatars that are AI-powered. And you can give this avatar its own backstory just by providing a simple text file that has details around what her backstory is. In this case, our avatar has the backstory of being Dungeons and Dragons dungeon master who's helping to create Dungeons and Dragons character. So I'm going to turn it over to the video.
Greetings, kind traveler. I am Seraphina Emberheart, the character weaver of Eldertide. I possess the ability to shape destinies and craft intricate narratives for adventurers and heroes. How may I assist you on your journey?
Create for me a Dungeons and Dragons character. I come from the realm of the Underdark. I am male. My favorite color is red, and my spirit animal is a raven.
Ah, a denizen of the Underdark, a realm of darkness and mystery. As the male character with a fondness for the color red, I envision you as a formidable warrior with a fiery spirit. Your spirit animal, the raven, symbolizes intelligence and cunning.
So as you can see here, we used the same 4 details that we used in the web app and fed them to this avatar. And she was able to give us a whole backstory and description for our character, which we then also sent off to Stability to get an image of our companion, the raven.
And again, to touch on the business application and value of this AI-powered avatar, we highlighted a few use cases here. We see this being huge for an interactive customer service experience. Anytime you walk into a bank and there's a long line to talk to the teller, maybe you go up to a kiosk and can ask questions and get assistance with your check-in using one of these avatars. We also see this being huge for trainings, maybe a soft skills training where you can set up a judgment-free environment to hone in on maybe interviewing skills or where you want to practice a sales pitch. We see this being huge for conferences and presentations where you could use an AI avatar as a stand-in. For crisis response training, you could simulate a high-pressure environment where you need to make fast-paced decisions. We see this being beneficial for maybe the military or first responders. And then lastly, you could use an avatar to help enhance your employee onboarding experience, where you could tailor a unique onboarding process to help new employees through their trainings and to help with paperwork.
And then looking at this from the education and healthcare realm, a couple things that we wanted to hit on were language development for education. A lot of times with language development, immersion is pretty important, being able to immerse yourself in that language. Sometimes you don't have a resource available to help with that. So having a 3D avatar that can interact with you in that other language would be beneficial there. Over the past couple of years, we've really gotten into more virtual education and virtual medicine. So in those realms, having an avatar that you can interact with, whether it's a teacher's assistant for kids at home, or if you want to interact with a avatar, give them your symptoms, and find out if you need to go to the doctor or not. And they can even help scheduling appointments. And kind of like we touched on before with reception and customer service, having an avatar that can kind of check patients in as they come into the office, take that responsibility away and allow your administrators to focus more on their duties at the desk. So these are some of the high-level business values that we saw for using the AI-powered avatar. And then, is there any questions?